Today I'm delighted that Bob Kiely, who's one of our stewardship chairs, is here in person to share with us a little bit about stewardship. We're so glad, Bob, that you're taking on this responsibility. Bob has experience of working in healthcare, both at home and abroad, and we're so glad that you're helping us here this year.
Thank you, Dean. Good morning. It really is a privilege to be back in this beautiful, beautiful place. Along with my co-chair and dear friend, Susanna Wade-Lewis, I want to first start by thanking everyone for their wonderful support of St. Bart's. As Dean indicated in today's forums, these are challenging times financially, and we are so grateful for those of you who have continued to support us generously, have continued to not only think of us, but also to meaningfully give to us, in some cases in significantly increased numbers. I was asked to spend a few minutes this morning to talk about why I support St. Bart's, and I guess thinking back, I walked into this wonderful church in 2015 and experienced the radical welcome. Since then, I've been constantly amazed how at times I've either been lightly tapped on the shoulder as a consequence of being a member of this parish, and sometimes, quite frankly, grabbed by the throat. This really hit home for me a couple of weeks ago. I just returned this past Tuesday from 2 weeks in Istanbul, Turkey, a place that I lived and worked in for 4 years. I arrived in Istanbul on the Sunday of Labor Day weekend and was understandably jet-lagged, and so I sat down at my computer and listened to the forum that day as well as the worship service. During the forum, Peter and John Weariness spoke about labor and about Labor Day, and John observed that the route to middle class for newly arrived people was often through government service. And I thought back how true that was for my family. My Irish grandfather immigrated in the late 1919, I believe it was, and was fortunate to secure a job as a New York City fireman. And I'll say more about that in a moment. And then in 1946, my father, newly arrived from World War II, was able to join the United States Treasury Department. My dad was not able to have a college education due to family circumstances, but he persevered in his career and rose to the very top of the Treasury Department, thereby enabling me to get the education that he never enjoyed. So that was two very good examples in my own family of the message that John and Peter conveyed that morning. On the anniversary of September 11th, I was sitting in one of the squares in Istanbul within eyesight of one of the grand mosques, and I again turned on my iPad and watched the commemoration service of September 11th and was very moved by the entire service. Ironically, at the exact moment that the beautiful Ave Maria came across the computer screen, the Muslim call to prayer rang from the adjacent mosque, and I thought, what an interesting juxtaposition of Christian and Muslim faith. In Dean's sermon that morning, he really did get my attention because he spoke of the dedication of firemen and first responders. And indeed, my grandfather was killed fighting a fire in 1944 in Manhattan, leaving a wife and 4 children ranging in age from 7 to 18. So I hadn't thought of my grandfather in quite a while. He was unfortunately gone before I arrived in this world. So I thank you, Dean, for helping me remember him and for that marvelous montage of the firemen who so wondrously gave of their lives on behalf of all of us. And then finally, just this morning, and this was, I guess, in the category of grabbed by the throat, when I arrived and saw that today's opening hymn was Our God in Help in Ages Past, I couldn't help but remember it was that very hymn that opened my wife's funeral service 24 years ago. So it really was a very good memory, and I guess that gets in the category of being grabbed by the throat. I am so grateful for St. Bart's. It has made a tremendous difference in my life. I treasure the time that I've spent in this building. I treasure the time that I've spent working at Crossroads in the pantry. And I treasure the time, frankly, that we've spent trying to make sure that we secure the financial resources of the church. Again, I end where I began. I want to thank you very much for your support and encourage you to continue to remember us as we close out the year. The fall is traditionally the busiest time in stewardship, and I don't think that will be any different. And we are here to help you, and if there's anything that I can do personally to facilitate your support of St. Bart's, I hope you will reach out to me. Thank you.